10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Good evening, lovely people. Hope you're well and welcome back to another Prem panel show live. Delighted to be joined by Kendall. Should have a few more guests joining soon. Kendall, it's been a little while. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing really, really good, thank you. Obviously, for the stream, I'm lying if I'm saying I'm doing good. Actually, I'm very just stupidly stressed about the rest of the season. I'm almost at a point of I just want it to be done because I cannot deal with it. I'm going to be great. I'm going to age about 20 years in the next 2 weeks. But other than that, in general, I'm good, actually. I've enjoyed it so far.
Good. But people, as always, when we get behind the mic, please make sure you subscribe, come on and like, but also make sure you go and support Kendall on social media as well, doing some great stuff. Right, we've got to start with the elephant in the room. There's a new dominant force in Europe, it seems, and it might be a team that sits in the Premier League. Man City just destroyed Real Madrid 4-0 to book their place in the final of the Champions League against Inter Milan. I'm going to ask you a slightly different question, Kendall. Seeing Man City's journey when they got a cash injection to where they are now, the big thing they wanted was the Champions League. Everyone knew that. It was no secret. But as a Newcastle fan, you must look at their journey and think, we can do that. When you look at what Man City are doing, especially right now this season, does that excite you for the future?
Yeah, 100% it excites me. I mean, they've had a lot more experience than we've currently got at the moment in the last, 10 or so years. But yeah, it definitely does. I mean, I think it'll be a little bit different for us because when they initially were taken over, obviously FFP and stuff wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
And they spent not the first season initially, but they spent very heavily quite quickly. And obviously the Robinho signs and things like that, which is the ones that everybody always picks out. So I think it'll be a little bit tougher for us to reach the heights that they have as consistently as they have, because as we've seen the last few years, you guys have competed with them and beaten them on several occasions. Arsenal have done it till the wire this season, but there's always going to be another team that is there, so there's going to be more teams for us to compete with, and Man City on top of that. So I think they've had it a little bit not easy, because the Premier League's never easier, but their journey's been a little bit more steady than I guess ours probably will be. And because of their heavy spending, our spending's going to be scrutinised to every single penny. And because of the way that obviously football is now, and after state takeovers and things like that, we're going to be looked at under a magnifying glass with every single thing that we do. I'm happy with how we've approached it so far. We've been pretty smart with it, and we are way ahead of schedule. We said 5 years for Europe, so we're way ahead of schedule now. So I am glad with how we approached it. But yeah, I think any club looks at Man City. This is what I was just on about Twitter before. This is why I've just had arguments with people on Twitter, because there's always fan bases like, every time City win a game, it's like, oh, look what 2 billion can get you in offshore bank accounts and a state-led ownership. And I'm like, guys, surely it's a good thing when you are a club who isn't state-owned and who hasn't got access to funds like that, who've competed, like Liverpool, like Arsenal. It's a good thing that you've competed with it. That's how I see it anyway. And any club is envious of City's success. That's just how it is. No matter what, on a base level, you look at City and you think, I really wish that was my club. Whether you're Doncaster Rovers, whether you're, I don't know, Scunthorpe United, you look at them and you think, I really wish that we could experience what they do. So half the time, it just looks to me like it's like coming from a place of just envy, wishing they were them. And I get it, I do. Any club wishes you were them. So yeah, it's just going to be under a microscope, and I think we'll fall victims to that, I'm afraid.
I'll be honest with you, Kendall. I was one of those fans who was like that up until this season. I've had to do a 360.
Yeah.
I've had to do a 360. No, a 180.
Yeah.
I've had to. Man United has spent loads of money. Chelsea has spent loads of money. Arsenal has spent a lot of money since Arteta's been there.
Yeah.
City
Look at
have spent
Everton,
it.
for example.
Everton.
They're battling relegation for 3 years in a row after all the 600 million
City have
they've spent.
They've spent it better. They've just spent it better.
Mm-hmm.
On that note, though, I'd be rude. I'd be wrong if I didn't introduce this man. This is going to hurt me as a Liverpool fan because we've been competing with them for some years now. But when flowers have to be given, flowers have to be given. He's making a special appearance. Didn't even need to come on the show, so much appreciated for that. Daps, yours. Congratulations.
But you know what? Yesterday when you asked, I almost said, I'll come on because I knew I was watching it at home because I've had to sacrifice today, which has been the hardest thing, by the way. It's been so hard sat here watching the build-up. It's been hell, to be frank with you. And look, I knew because of obviously my daughter, I knew I was going to have to pick one of the two. I always pick the away games, but today was hard, man. It was very, very hard to not be there. And the nerves. I always planned on coming on, but you know why I didn't say yes last night? Because I was typing, I'll come on, right? And then I remembered last year when we played Madrid in the second leg, and I'd said yes, I'll come on, and I came on, right? And it wasn't even a case of because I came on, you lot were good, you were like, we appreciate you've come on, obviously everyone, but it was more a case of I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to do exactly the same things I did last year and it end up. What a game, man. What a game.
That I'll be honest, again, you know my thoughts on City. I hate you lot, innit? I'll just be real with you. But I watched that game today, Daps, and I can't lie. I felt jealous, but not in a malicious way. I felt jealous as in these lot play ball and they've just played Real Madrid completely off the park. Like 4-0, flat as Real Madrid, in my opinion.
Do you know what it was? It's one of those ones where, when you win so convincingly that it makes you think, we're Real Madrid just that bad? But then I think when a team, and I think that's the thing. Do you know what? I'll be honest, I don't think De Bruyne and Haaland were that great today at all. But do you know what it was? It was a desire to win every. Well, what I would say with De Bruyne was overhitting a lot of passes. But I think maybe what we saw.
The assist for Silva's one.
No, agreed. But if you go back and watch
that for a needle, bro.
But
look at their standards on their standards are ridiculous now.
But do you know what it was today?
Do
you know what it was today for me? Like, you can pick it. That's De Bruyne, but to me, it was a desire all over the pitch to just the recycling the ball was insane, right? And it just looked like Ancelotti. You know what? I was watching a few interviews with Ancelotti before the game, and he was doing a lot of the talking. He does the mind games thing, and he was doing a lot of the talking of like, sometimes it's not about how you play football; it's about knowing how to win it. I thought he is right. Firstly, that's one of the things with Madrid. But today, I almost felt like, have you gone into this game thinking we're Madrid, right? We know how to do it, and we're just going to go on that, and we're going to win it because City just outplayed them all over the pitch, man. Do you know what? There's a few. I was having a moment earlier on in Subway at lunchtime, right? And I was thinking, I started watching the Vincent Kompany interview when the speech he left when he left, and he was saying, "Listen, you've done a domestic treble, but you haven't won the Champions League yet." And then I was thinking about Aguero walking past that trophy, right? And I know we haven't won it yet, but someone had messaged me saying we can't have Kevin De Bruyne leave this football club like David Silva left this football club, like Vincent Kompany left this football club, like Aguero left this football club without the big ears, right? We can't have another legend leave without those big ears. And today it just looked like all over the pitch. Ederson today, and I've been so our own fan base. And admittedly, it's not so much the game-going fans, but an element of our fan base, every single Champions League blame our exit on Ederson. Every single season say, we need a better goalkeeper. And you know what? Courtois in the first half was unbelievable.
Both legs.
Both. Yeah. Courtois, spot on. I got asked last night if I could have one Real Madrid player not play today. And I said, it'd be easy for me to say Benzema, maybe Modric, Vinicius. I said, but to be honest with you, it's probably going to be Courtois because I think without Courtois, they're going to concede a lot more goals. And he showed it today. But the same with Ederson. Ederson made some very important saves. And it just, you know what? It just looked like so much desire to the want. And that's how we've done what we've done, because all I can keep saying is if January, February times, we were in a bad place, man. We were in a bad
I
place.
wanted to go back to that because January, February time. Again, I sat here. Kendall, I don't know about yourself. Did you have Arsenal to win the league around January, February time, or did you
Yeah,
still?
I
So
backed Arsenal literally till probably last month.
same. So,
In
but
January
I
and
remember
February,
you and Steve. You and Steve kept on saying, "What was it? The Blue Sharks coming. The Blue
Yeah.
Sharks coming."
I also remember Dap saying on Never a Foul that I can't remember who it was to. I don't know if it was if it was Cunley or whatever. But I remember you saying we could be you could be 12 points ahead of us to Arsenal fans. And he's like, that doesn't bother me at all because I know that at the back end of the season.
but
We'll
it
be
got to a
fine.
point. It got to a point in January and February where I was saying, because my whole thing is, if we turn into the city that we are at that point, yeah, we'll do what we need to do. And I think the one thing that everyone needs to take from not just the Liverpool, the seasons we got it over Liverpool, but even the first time we did it, first time we won the league over Man United, right? We've only ever won a league. I mean, maybe this year might be quite a convincing lead when it actually ends, but once convincingly, as in when I say convincing by a big point margin, it's just we know how to win by any means, right? And I said this on a show earlier. I think it was on, it was on Never a Foul earlier on. I said it feels to me like what we do in the Premier League comes from the first time we won it. The first time we won the Premier League, we beat not just Man United, but we beat Man United when they were still managed by Alex Ferguson. Yeah. And that was basically showing we can beat the best, right? And that was a start of our DNA in the Premier League, right? To fight to the end, because we had to do it that season, and we've kept that since. And I said today, this is our third semi-final against Real Madrid. We've been in 4 semi-finals now. This is our third against Real Madrid. And it seems fitting that if we want to win our first Champions League, we do have to beat Bayern Munich in the qualifier, in the knockout rounds. We do have to beat Real Madrid in the knockout rounds, the champions. Because if we want to continue and go on and win it again and again and again, I don't want it to be a fluke. I don't want it to be we've got a lucky draw and I want it to be that, you know what, we've come up against some of the best teams and we've proven, because now that will put us in good stead going forward. It won't be like, oh, you know what, we had a lucky season where, you know, we finished third in the league, but somehow got to a final by playing rubbish teams in the Champions League. We've got to do it the best way. And you know what? I'll say it now. Inter Milan, I had said this season on DR, they asked me, if we don't do the treble, is it a bottle job? I said, do you know what? If you want me to say something, I will say, if we don't win the league and the FA Cup right now, and this was about 3 weeks ago, it's a bottle job, right? Okay. I said,
I rate that.
If we get past Real Madrid and we don't win the Champions League, then no problem. You can say the same about the Champions League, right? Yeah. But I said, let's get over Madrid, because I will never, ever call a bottle job losing to Real Madrid in the semi-final of the Champions League, right? Even when we were 2-0 up today, I was looking at Cass and saying, it's happening, bro, it's happening. I said, but I've got to remember, Real Madrid were 2-0 up. Sorry, Liverpool were 2-0 up. Sorry, but no, bro. This isn't slander on you, lot. This is just.
No, it's all right. You keep rubbing that salt in the wound, bro.
No, I'm not doing that on purpose, bro. It's how good Madrid are. That, like, even in the beginning of the second half, we're 2-0 up. But I'm like, if Madrid get one goal, this whole tie could turn on its head, right? Because that's what happened last year. I know it's at the Bernabeu, but I did say this when the draw got made. When the quarters and the semis got made, I said, if we beat Bayern, the fact we've got Real Madrid in the second leg at the Etihad, it's the Etihad, and tonight the Etihad was rocking again. It was a 12th man. And I've always said it, we will not win this Champions League until every member of the fan base believes that we deserve to be there. Because that was our issue. Our issue has always been, we haven't truly felt like we deserve to be there, right? We only started believing when we got to that final. We started believing. But I've witnessed it over the last 16 months, every single away leg, the way the fan base is moving is more and more confident. And today, and as I said, when we got Bayern in the quarters, a few City fans wanted Real in the quarters and said, let's get revenge. I said, no, we need one more big scalp to truly make us believe that we deserve to be there. That's what we've done. It's mad. It's been the maddest, like I said, since February, because I was
It's
thinking,
crazy.
in February, it got to a point where the only reason I was saying we still win this league is based on because I know what we're going to do. I said, I'm not seeing anything on the pitch to make me think we're going to win it, but knowing who we are, that's what I'm putting my blind faith in right now. And it's mad. We go, bro. I thought we were going to have to go to game week 38 to win the league.
You won't have to.
We go.
Hold that there though. Hold that there though, Daps.
Oh, who's there?
Because I do want to bring in. I want to bring in someone now who's on the other side of how you're feeling. Big him up. He's coming to the show.
Lee.
Listen, man, you got 10 minutes, bro. I'm just,
Lee.
you got 10 minutes.
What have you got? Selective mute.
That's his cop.
Does say selective mute CBA. And well, are you eating? I don't even know what's going on here, to be honest.
Lee, silly
You got 10
question.
minutes. I'm in my bed
how
right
is
now.
Lee?
Having the time of my life.
How are you doing, Lee?
Listen, I just watched a bigger game today, which was Middlesbrough against Coventry.
Oh, who actually won that?
Coventry.
No.
That's the one that everyone cares about.
Second leg.
Yes, it was second leg today.
And what? Have Coventry gone through?
Mhm.
I told you.
Whoa! God damn.
Lee,
I thought Middlesbrough would do it. To be fair,
Yeah, same. I thought Middlesbrough would do it. Wow.
Lee, I got
And Luton went through last night. Luton went through last night, didn't they? As well?
Yeah, they beat Sunderland.
Yeah.
Lee, I
Luton,
got a couple
Coventry.
questions to ask you naturally. You're guaranteed to finish second this season. So, and again, I'm gonna be as objective as I can because every part of me right now wants to rip you to shreds, but I won't because you've come on the show and I'm gonna try and remain as the host humble and respectful. I think you've bottled the league, but I think you've also had a very good season in the league, and I don't think that should be overlooked. So as much as I am going to rip you from now until you win a trophy, it's just like you know me, Lee. You know me well enough to know I'm going to do that. I still have to give you your flowers and say at the beginning of the season, I didn't even expect you to be in the top four. You had a bit of a title race with Man City. You're finishing second in the league. You qualify for Champions League. From what it seems, you're going to try and get Caicedo. You're going to try and get Declan Rice. May even try and get another player as well. So you've got the ambition to spend money in and get top players in. How are you feeling overall about this season?
Hi, Kendall.
Hi, Dal.
Looking as great as ever.
Thanks. So you, as much as I can see of you, what are these called?
So what about Daps? So
Not your
Daps look good
boobs.
enough.
What are these? Your pecs, I mean. Boobs is what I was trying to say. Pecs is what I mean.
Listen, man, I'm here to talk about Coventry against Middlesbrough. And you got about 7 minutes left. Your monologue was great.
Are you feeling it that much, Lee?
What?
Are you feeling it that much?
What?
What was the moment for you where you thought this season went bad for you? You're really struggling. I'm loving this. I can't lie. I am loving this.
Lee, you still in England or what? Are you?
I told you. I'm in Marbella. I'm only here because KG.
Are you in
was on the
Marbs?
plane. Yeah.
Nice.
Don't catch feelings, catch flights, they say. So I
So you had to-
decided
so you say-
That's
To be
the
fair,
whole
I know a few blues out in Marbs. To be fair, if you want to go out tonight,
Yeah, didn't I show you the video? I fucked up one of them mates this morning.
I don't believe you, but yeah.
Yeah, he was giving it the big and I was walking around with my Arsenal t-shirt.
Oh, today.
No, I mean last week.
Oh, I was gonna say that's so Lee, what's how's Marbella? How's the weather out there?
I ain't gonna lie to you, a little bit of overcast, but it's alright.
Like your season?
Pricey as fuck. but we win.
Amen. That's why. Is that your dinner then? You're having crisps for dinner?
Nah.
Gotta save it for the bottles later on tonight, man.
Yeah. Whoa, Kendall. Whoa. Are you sending for me?
No, I was saying you've got to save money for the bottles later on tonight because I'm pretty sure you're about to have a heavy night.
Okay, yeah. Bottles of drink, right?
Oh shit! Sorry.
Kendall.
I actually swear on my life. I actually swear on my life right now that is not what I meant. And it's literally took us 30 seconds to click on there, right? As to why you were saying
I didn't get what he was meaning as well.
I didn't. And then it's...
Kendall.
Okay, I get it now. I'm
You're
sorry.
just
I
like,
know.
yo.
The word bottle just triggers you now, Lee. Is that what you're saying?
I know, I'm sorry. I swear to God, that is not what I meant at all. I actually meant like you were going to the club in Marbs. That's what I meant.
I am going out. That's why you got about 4 minutes left.
What?
Where you going,
Is that
Pangea?
Aquamis, or is that-
What's he drinking? Straight vodka? Tequila?
No. Water.
Oh.
Nah.
Lee.
I'm waiting for Beijing to send me my bottle.
Do you think you'll bounce back from this season, though, Lee?
What?
Do you think you'll bounce back?
Bounce back?
Yeah. The disappointment.
What?
League's not over yet. We got one.
Yeah,
more.
Daps. You know it is. We've been here before, Daps. You know it is. Unless it's Liverpool, you know it's over. You know it's over. That's not even being disrespectful to Arsenal. It's over.
Listen, Arsenal have got a tough game against Forest, then we've got a tough game against Chelsea at home.
Listen, man. I keep saying I'm only here so I don't get fined. So.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've got about 2 minutes left. So what we saying? Kendall,
Mm-hmm.
about Harry Kane.
What am I saying about Harry Kane?
You gonna grab him this season?
Absolutely not.
You wouldn't take Harry Kane, Kendall?
No.
Hold on. Am I the only one who's missing something here? Because
I wouldn't take Harry Kane by the way either.
I'm sorry,
No,
Harry
no,
Kane
that's-
doesn't.
you-
He
it
doesn't
makes
move
sense
me.
to you,
Hughes.
that.
He doesn't move us at all. Honestly, Harry Kane doesn't move me at all. And they're going to want 150 million for him. No, doesn't move.
no,
us.
he's on last year of his contract.
Just, yeah, but Daniel Levy's annoying to deal with, so he will want 100 M's min. I'm not paying 100 million for Harry Kane.
But hold on.
In fact, I would. You know why I would? Just sit him on the bench for the rest of his career, and he'll not beat Shearer's record. I'll be like,
that's where
I'll take
it
it.
comes
I'll
from.
take it. Yeah, no,
That's
but not
where
really.
it
He doesn't
comes
move me.
from.
He doesn't set me alight. Like he doesn't like. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Like,
How about
like,
Ivan Toney with a couple of months ban?
No, we can't go back there. It's like going back to an ex. I'm just no, like just not happening.
No.
I think people forget like Ivan Toney was Newcastle and Rafa got rid of him because he was crap. So
I forgot that.
Yeah, he was at Newcastle.
yeah,
I
so
forgot
it's like
that.
going back to an ex. I would prefer like just give us someone different. You know what I mean? Like give us someone more. By the way, I think Harry Kane's a fantastic striker, and I think he's had a really, really good individual career. But yeah, I just wouldn't pay the money. It doesn't match our like transfer approach now either. It's like because we seem to be going for like 25 and under at this point. So yeah, wages,
Kendall,
transfer
let's say it's
amount.
70 mil. Let's say it's 70 mil. You wouldn't do it for 70? 70 mil for Harry.
70 mil I would consider.
Consider. Am I the only
Yeah,
one?
it
I'll be
doesn't
honest.
because Carly just doesn't move. Like this, I can't explain it anything more than he doesn't move me. Like he doesn't like. I don't know. I don't know what it is. He just doesn't. If it just doesn't set me alight. Like
I'll
it
be
just
honest.
doesn't.
Harry Kane, Luis Diaz, and Mo Salah. Like that for me. I think we challenge City.
Well,
All right, we
even
still got
if the
to
rest,
start
I was
midfield. We still got some midfield.
I was
Let
going
me
to say,
pause
hold
that.
on a minute.
Yeah,
I was gonna say,
I'll go ahead of myself. I'll go ahead of myself.
You got to sort your manager as well.
Say again.
You got to sort your manager out as well.
No, he seems to be all right. He broke Arteta again, innit?
He's like, yeah, see ya. I knew
He was
gonna do
waiting.
that.
He'd done the stopwatch. He was waiting for that.
No, big up Lee for joining in the first place.
Do you know what, though?
Holiday.
Do you know what, Callum? I started the season off saying something, right?
Yeah.
Well, not just me, the whole world did. There's two teams in the Premier League that can go on unbeaten runs.
Yeah.
Right. It looks like the season's ending the same, mate.
Bit early for us to say that because Villa's are going to be.
I hear you. But we thought the
You'll
same
win.
with us. Everyone said that it was a bit early with City. You know what? Everyone was saying City aren't the same this season, and all of that. And now, and I kept saying to everyone, I hear you, but our unbeaten runs usually come at the end of the season, right? And everyone's like, no. And now you look at it, it's like, oh, shock, unbeaten run.
Rinse and repeat. It's
but I do think
eerily scary, isn't it?
I don't want to turn you.
Yeah,
It's. Do you know what? It's this thing that Pep. It's really
it's like
weird.
Pep and Klopp have a conversation and say, "Let's make it a bit entertaining," and then they go, "All right, now's the time. We'll just do it now."
But do you know what it is? Though?
Klopp just took it a bit too far this
Yeah, he took it way too far.
I think
went off script way off.
I think what it is they both know through experience how long a season is, and they both know that you can sprint at the start if you want, no problem. When there's a marathon, there's a pacemaker out there. The pacemaker is never there at the end of the pacemaker drops off, and the people that sat in 6th, 7th, 8th go through and win the marathon. And I think that's what it is. That Pep this season for me, Pep's done everything right. Even at the start of the season, the Cancelo thing, the calling out players in January, the right time to do it. You can't be calling out players in April. You can't be playing new centre back partnerships in April. You have to play them early in the season. Even with Calvin Phillips,
They did drift last night.
Even with Calvin Phillips, right? That Calvin Phillips had his chance to. When we came back from the World Cup, the aim was that Calvin Phillips would be fit, right, and Rodri would get a bit of a rest, and Calvin Phillips could step up. When it got to like March and April, and people started saying, "Oh, do you think Pep will give Phillips a run out?" No, he won't, because it's a business end of the season. You don't give players a run out and see if they're up to speed in April. You don't do that, and it's just everything's been timed right so far. Touch wood. Look, I've been saying when people have been talking on the treble, I keep saying that if you have a fourfold accumulator and not one result has come in, you don't talk about winning the fourfold, right? If not one has come in, we hadn't even got to a Champions League final, right? And people were talking about, we were still second and people were talking about a treble, right? We're now top. We're now in the Champions League final. People can talk about it now. I get it. People can talk about it now. We really can talk about that. But I'm not going to say it's going to be easy. Inter Milan won't be an easy game neither, by the way.
It won't, but you'll have too much for him.
As long as I said all I wanted to see to win a game like this against Real Madrid, we need to see another performance like we put in against Bayern Munich at home. And tonight we put in a better performance than that. And the good thing is that I've got faith in our manager that he's not going to get carried away. He's not going to go into Milan. We don't need to worry about that. He's going to say, look, we need an equally as good a performance. Because we have to remember, Inter Milan have won a Champions League. We have not, right?
Yeah.
So going into it, it's still going to be tough graft. But
shall I tell you what did it for me tonight, though? You brought on Mahrez, Foden, and Alvarez.
Yeah. Do you know the Alvarez thing? The Alvarez thing that's funny is when Alvarez won a World Cup, I think it was I was on a show with Matisse, and I said, we were talking about Messi getting the Ballon d'Or, and I said, right, so if Messi and Mbappe, who at that point have both had sensational World Cups, if they go back to PSG and PSG don't get to the Champions League final, I mean, I don't even remember what round they went out in.
Yeah,
right?
they went out
don't set the French league alight, right? And so ultimately, all Messi and Mbappe have done is perform very well in the World Cup final. Now, I think, by the way, that Messi will get the Ballon d'Or. I think it's just that's UEFA and that's. Yeah. But I said as a joke, if Alvarez, who scored 4 goals and won the World Cup, comes back, wins the Premier League with Man City, right? Scores goals in the Champions League and Man City win the Champions League. Yeah. And Cass said it last night and I'm going, I was joking, bro. But now I'm actually getting tweets about is Alvarez a shout for fucking Ballon d'Or.
The only reason I'd say no, only because he hasn't played. I'll be honest. I think Haaland's the one you got to shout for.
Yeah.
I do you know what? I agree, but I would want it to be De Bruyne because I feel like, when you just feel like a player deserves it a bit. I'm not saying this season he has, but Haaland's going to win the Ballon d'Or at some point in his career. And I don't know, man. You know what? I don't really care single accolades. When Haaland got the Guard of Honor, he turned around and said, "I'd hand back every single goal if it means that we win the Champions League and the Premier League." And that's the way I feel. I don't care about single player accolades and whatever. I don't care if Pep gets manager of the season. He still hasn't got manager of the month this year, I believe. So
that's wild, isn't it? Do you know what? Do you know what? It sounds wild, but it's actually not when you actually break it down, because Arteta was doing the madness. Eddie Howe's been doing the madness this
and
season.
now Roy is. Good old Roy is.
Hodgson's been doing the madness. There's been a few managers. There's been a few. I mean, even Klopp. Klopp's gone on a little winning
It
run.
just
as well,
shows how
so-
good Pep is, man, because he's
Yeah,
literally, it's like the
scary.
norm now. Oh, well,
Yeah.
Pep's won 5
Yeah.
games in a row. Well, like, that's how good he is.
Yeah. He's changed.
He's
changed.
so
Look,
good.
I tell you what's changed it for me as well this season, and it would have to be against us. You did it, if I'm not mistaken. You changed flipping formation against us, and we copied it effectively.
No,
And
do
we've-
you know what
we've
we
had-
didn't, bro? We've been doing it. We've been doing it for a long
Or should I
time.
say you changed personnel within your tactics?
Yeah.
then?
So Rico Lewis was doing the inverted fullback
Yeah,
role. It's
yeah.
just Rico Lewis is an 18-year-old, so it just didn't look as good. But I remember being
Stones
at
wasn't playing next to Rodri.
Yeah, it's where Rico was playing next to Rodri, right? And I remember there was one particular game where I was filming it and sending pictures to Ty and Cass and saying, "Look where Rico Lewis is sitting. He's sitting in the middle of the pitch right next to Rodri." But he's a 17, 18-year-old. John Stones has come in and done it. And yeah, and I must say today, right, there's one point where John Stones was on the ball and he tried to play this pass through. And I said, and this is a difference with him and Trent, that they're both doing the same thing, but they're both doing it differently. That Trent from there is picking out weldy passes, whereas Stones is just there for the control and whatever. But Stones' pass, it was like, bro, you're not Trent. Come on, calm down.
But I remember which one you talk, because Pep made a point to call him out and start clapping him and say, "No, Stones, good job."
Yeah.
What it was for me in that game, because again, you see on that day when we played you, I didn't do shout out to Mons. Mons actually did the watch long for us because Matt couldn't film, Drifty couldn't film, and I was on set filming with Andy Cole.
Oh yeah. Congratulations on that, by the way. You're making some big moves now, though, aren't you? That's normal.
Get in there, God willing. Get in there, God willing. But Andy Cole, when he saw the lineup, turned to me and said, "Have you seen this?" And I said, "Yeah." I don't know what to make of it. Like, Pep might have overthought it. Lo and behold, after we finished filming, we saw the result, and I was like, he didn't overthink it. He ripped us to shreds.
It's
and
funny.
You've ripped everyone to shreds.
It's like he worked out the formation, how he wanted to play this season. I've said from the start, what he's been trying to do is make up for the loss of false nine with Haaland. He's lost a body in midfield, and Pep loves midfield dominance. So he was tinkering and trying to work out how you still get that same number of bodies in midfield, right? And he worked it out, but it wasn't, like you just said, it wasn't the right personnel. And that's where I said at one point, I think when we played Arsenal in the FA Cup, I said, that team there will not win us the league. Because like Bernardo wasn't on form, De Bruyne wasn't on form, Gundogan wasn't on form, Walker wasn't playing, Stones was injured, Diaz was injured. We had a lot of, but it's like Pep found the right formation but had the wrong people in it. What I don't know if maybe one day we'll find out if he did it on purpose or not, because I think what he's been trying to do is get that extra body in midfield. Somehow, what he's also managed to do in the same breath is work out that actually by playing like that, it means defensively we're better. Yeah. And I said this last night, that if you think about it, what Pep has done, he's created this team that works perfectly in transitions, especially for Madrid, because it means that we've got that extra body in midfield to completely dominate them in midfield. However, if they do counter, all we do is John Stones takes a few steps backwards, and all of a sudden we've got 4 centre-backs and Rodri in front of them. And it's made us stronger defensively than, I think, I keep saying this, we've looked since probably Mancini era. That was probably the last time I think we looked as good defensively. So, and I don't know, because Pep never really thinks about defensively. And I don't know if he stumbled across it or not, but it's made us better defensively. I mean, Akanji today, by the way, and we've been saying how good Ake's been at left back. Today, the last few games, Akanji's coming at left back, and he's just picked up the baton from. And this is the thing that Pep just, I guess, him training drums everyone in. This is how you play in the system. And last season, when I think Laporte and Fernandinho were looking tired, someone said, what if Fernandinho or Laporte gets injured? He said, then Phil Foden steps in as centre-back, right? It's not his natural position, but he knows the system. So he should be able to do a job. And I think that's what it is now. I'm looking at his beautiful face on the TV in front of me right now. I got asked yesterday if I had a choice of Pep of winning the Champions League or Pep signing a 12-year contract, which one would I take? And I said, if Pep and this squad of players win us the Champions League this year, then they can all leave.
Yeah,
I don't want them to, but
I
I'd say, do you know what? I would say, you know what? We even had the conversation about Haaland, that if we win the Champions League with Haaland and Haaland says, right, I've completed English football in one season, I now want to go on to another league, then we'll say, no problem. Thank you for helping us do that.
We'll bugger off, bro.
Yeah. Anyway, enough about City. I'm happy. And now, I was going to say this a minute ago. You two, because if we look at Man United and we look at Newcastle, am I not right that Newcastle's last couple of games are probably the more difficult of the two?
This is what I was going to get. Yeah,
our next game is definitely out of all of them.
It's a Chelsea thing. No, Chelsea can affect everything.
Yeah,
but I can't see them doing any. I can see Chelsea losing all the rest of their games.
They don't care, do they? They're on the.
But hold on, Chelsea's last three is Newcastle, Man City, and Man United.
Yeah.
They're not winning another game.
And we've got there are ours on Sunday.
That's gonna be a
no, but hold on, Newcastle play
tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
That's massive, man. That's huge.
Like, I literally can't. I'm sick of thinking about it. I need tomorrow done. I don't care. Honestly, I just need it done. Whatever happens, I'm actually genuinely sick of it. I can't function any longer this season. My brain is like just. The minute honestly, it's not an exaggeration. The minute I wake up, I'm like looking at the league table like anything's changed in the 2 hours that I've slept. Like when it hasn't, no games have been played. Why am I looking at it again? Like I'm literally constantly doing calculations in my head. Like it's awful. I hate it. Honestly, it's absolutely vile. Like it's horrible. And that Leeds result at the weekend has knocked me clean out as well. I'm just sick of it.
I know the answer to this question, but I still got to ask it. You, like Arsenal, weren't expected to be where you were this season. Arsenal weren't expected to be second. You guys weren't expected to be third. The ball's still in your court. But if you were to drop out of the top four and finish in Europa League spots, do you see that as a failure of a season for Newcastle? Because I don't. I would still say you've got all top four, but you haven't failed the season.
Yeah, it's not a failure of a season because we just, as I said earlier, like, we expected to be there in about 5 years. So to get there in a year and a half, even less really, because last season we were like 20th, so no one put us there. To get there in a season is incredible. So even if you'd said to me any sort of European football, if you give me Conference League at the beginning of the season, said, look, you can literally end the season now and have Conference League, I'd be like, yeah, I'll take it. I don't care. Like, I've only ever seen us in Europe once. Like, as a match-going fan, I've only ever seen us in Europe once in 2012. So I don't remember the last time we were in Champions League. It was 20 years ago, and I didn't have my season ticket then. I got my season ticket in 2006. So, I've not seen us. So I don't think it's a failure. I just think that if we were to drop out now, I'll be absolutely devastated because we've been there the whole season. Well, not the whole season, but like 97% of the season we've been in top four. So I would be absolutely gutted now if it came down to 3 games and we dropped out. I would be like, oh my God, this is horrible. Absolutely horrible. And I know all the players would be devastated. I know Eddie Howe would be devastated. It just would be like rubbish. But then at the same time, same as Arsenal fans, you can look at it as massive progression because that's what it is. So when all's said and done, and probably the end of the season, a month down the line, I'll be probably sat there on a beach, hopefully, thinking, it's all right, really. But on the day it happens, I'll be like literally crying my eyes out, like devastated. Absolutely devastated.
Speaking of this season, though, again, another person that deserves massive credit, in my opinion, Eddie Howe. He's been brilliant, in my opinion. And I remember when he got sacked from Bournemouth, everyone was like, well, he had a little purple patch. Who is he now? He's just gonna kind of go off into the sunset. No one's gonna really know of him in the future. He's completely reinvented himself. Went and worked under Simeone, studied Klopp, studied Guardiola. Very smart beyond his years. Do you still think he is potentially the manager though that can take you from this level and then continue to take you up the league and into the promised land of Champions League and maintain your status in Champions League and even go one step further and do what Man City are doing now and get into finals?
Yeah, for me, like obviously everyone keeps bringing up he's never had any European experience. He's never played in Europe with a football team, but you don't know what he's going to be like until you give him that chance. Like you just don't know that, and he's never been up the top of the Premier League before, and he's pretty much proved that he can dance with the big boys this season. So for me, it's like you give him a chance to see what he can do. He's changed everything about the club. He's changed the culture. He's changed the way that we play, our style of play going into matches, just the belief that we can actually go to win a game now, because for a lot of years, even under Rafa Benitez, it was like you just go and do damage limitation. You go and try not to lose by a lot. It wasn't like you're going to win a game, which is that we actually do think about that now. We've got our first final since 1999 this season with him. And yeah, he's totally bought into the club. And like for a club like Newcastle, it's a little bit different, like with the likes of Manchester United, for example, who started as a community club, but they're a massive global fan base now. So it's very different because the community feel gets a little bit diluted. We probably will end up the same if we end up successful. Yeah. But just the way our club is and what our club's built on, it's very community based. It's like one club city. Like if you are a Newcastle fan, it is literally like a family. Like it's in your blood. That's what you're brought up on. And the fact that he's bought into it and so quickly as well and so easy, like it hasn't felt like a chore for him, like it has for a lot of managers before. Steve Bruce was born near Newcastle and he still couldn't figure it out himself. So it's like he's just done so much. So yeah, I hope that he is, and I hope if we do win a trophy in the recent future, then the near future, then I do hope that it's him that does it, and I do think he can. But yeah, I just want people to. I know people will say, "Oh, who would you rather have?" Because you need someone like a Conte, for example, or a Mourinho, or this, that, and the other. And they'll pick out managers, but like what they've done for the club, no one's gonna say that they could do what Eddie Howe's done for the club in this short space of time. So yeah, I'm taking it.
Would you take Simeone?
Oh, 100%. The only manager I'd ever swap Eddie Howe for.
And I thought I'd pull on the heart.
Guardiola as well, obviously, but yeah, Pep and Simeone, the only two managers I would ever swap Eddie Howe for. Like genuinely, I would, because Simeone and Newcastle fans is like a match made in heaven. Like it would literally be scary. It would actually scary for teams to ever play Simeone Newcastle teams. So yeah, I've always said that, but he said he'll never manage in England, and I don't think he will. So, and Trippier said that as well. He said Simeone said he'll never manage in England because he doesn't want to learn English. So yeah, he probably won't.
Right.
I always think that it might be. It's funny because I've always thought a bit like Mark Hughes at City. Right, and Mark Hughes took us to a certain point, and like, do you know what? I remember the season us and Tottenham were going for top 4. In fact, no, do you know what? It wasn't even top 4 back then. It was top 6, I think it might have been. It was top 6, and we got 7th. We got 7th, and Tottenham got 6th, and it's like Mark Hughes had taken us to a certain point, and then we went and got Mancini, and he came in with the very, pragmatic style of football, solid defensively, and that's what won us our first Premier League. It was how good we were defensively. Look, we still had, admittedly, we had Aguero and Tevez, but it was how good we were that season with Lescott, Toure, Company, De Jong in front of them. We were just very solid defensively, and I've always said that I feel like Newcastle, to get their first Premier League, might need that. They might need someone like Simeone to come in and go, do you know what? We're gonna play that Italian style of football where it's just very defensive minded. And I know he's not Italian, but you know what I mean with Simeone. And I could see that happening. If you're saying you know Simeone better than me, Kendall, because I know from the Atleti side, but I don't know. I just feel like a manager like that might be what Newcastle need to get their first one. But I've always said Newcastle, the way they're being run, the way they haven't spent money yet. We have to remember that they have not spent money, and they are where they are. I think Eddie Howe will be given as long as you keep improving, they won't get rid of him. The minute it's a backward step, and I've actually said this about Arsenal, that when Arsenal fans say, "Oh, Arteta out," I'm like, I'm with you the minute you make a backward step. But at the moment, you're still making forward steps. You don't get rid of someone if you're moving in the right direction. It doesn't make sense. So.
Agreed. Big up to Matt. He says, big up everyone in the chat and your team panel. Kendall is nothing but love, but you guys need to chill. Let us take fourth spot. We need the money. We are broke. Speaking of fourth spot, gotta bring in someone else who's in this conversation.
Oh, okay.
Look at him changing his caffeine. What's this about?
Ignore me.
I
can't ignore you. I can't.
Lee came on earlier and his caption was selective mute CBA. And now you've gone, yours is ignore me.
No, it was actually meant to be that. Basically, when we were live earlier, I wasn't in the stream, so I put ignore me in it. As in, so don't put me in the stream. I didn't realize it was doing it for this. I thought it was just that.
I can't ignore you when we live in the same house as well, by the way. Until you learn to shut the windows when you go to sleep, I'm not going to ignore you.
When you stop tearing up at every little thing, then maybe I might.
It's hay fever today, actually.
Yeah, is that the one? I got hay fever, but I don't sense it.
Oh, aren't you hard?
No, I'm quite soft at the moment.
Domestics on the street now.
I said it to do you know what, Kendall? I'll be real. I said it to these two. These two should have their own little show if they're living together, you know.
Oh,
that's comedy gold,
it's
right?
In the pipeline. It's in the pipeline.
It'll be like Mr. and Mr.
It isn't in the pipeline. There's nothing in no pipeline. I'm not getting piped, or no one gonna get piped.
Pause. Whoa.
There's no pipeline.
Anyway, dinner was thank you. Dinner was lovely. Thank you, honey.
No, I'm actually a great cook, to be fair.
I made it today. Actually.
Yeah, I know. I made it better though. I edited it. Just like everything else.
That's why it didn't take sweet enough.
No, because you're too busy trying to put tomato ketchup in it.
Listen, tomato ketchup, when you're cooking a spag bowl, gives it a nice little sweetness.
Hey, mate.
Right, that's actually disgraceful.
It is.
It's not just made off of tomato ketchup. A little squirt of ketchup.
I hate ketchup. I would ban ketchup from literal the earth if I could ban
you
ketchup.
said it was nice yesterday.
No, I can't stand it, but I didn't realise. Until I watched actually some chefs yesterday. To make it more sweet, the actual sauce, you actually do add brown sugar for one, and ketchup in it and mix it in to make it more sweet. I'm more of a spicy guy, you know what I'm saying? So you gotta get them.
I see he's always trying to prove he's hard. Oh, how hot do you have your curry?
Why are you moving so insecure right now? I'm just talking about myself. Like, come on, man.
Cass, talk to me. Kendall just told us about her situation with Newcastle.
I was hoping Drifty was going to be here, to be fair. Not you, Cal. Reason being, obviously, I love talking to you. But last time we was on Kopish, I said I would have the last laugh. And currently, right now, my name's not in the equation no more. I said, watch it when it flips to Newcastle and then you guys instead. And here we are. I hear you talk about Newcastle and everybody else. About Newcastle, if they're going to make it past Brighton. It's D-Day tomorrow, Kendall. And
right, can we not? Because I'm literally ill about it. I haven't even ate today because I literally think about it all the time. I'm that ill. I can't get over it. I sat and watched Man City literally annihilate my Madrid rivals, and I couldn't even enjoy it. I was like, oh, freaking hell, because I'm going to have to be at this time tomorrow. I'm going to be sat in St. James's Park. I'm literally ill about it. Like, you just don't, because you have won stuff lately, like, you know what I mean? But he's won stuff, and we've never done nothing like that.
What did we win, Kendall?
You won the Carabao Cup this season, so you can.
Not the Trafalgar Square Cup, no?
No, we won the Trafalgar Square Cup. I'm afraid just wasn't really a thing.
Her banner's upgraded just a little.
Wasn't really a thing. So yeah. I'm very ill over it. I'm unwell.
Yeah, no, last week on Thursday, yeah, like completely until I feel like I gave some reasoning and all that on top of the talk on Man United. Literally last week, Lee and everyone was just absolutely writing Man United off. It's like, cool.
Oh, they said that you wouldn't get top four.
No, they could see us winning, but at first it was drawing against Wolves. Can't see Man United getting top four. Laughing at Cass. You got a DR. You're the curse. You're gonna lose. All right.
You actually are the curse.
I'm not.
I won. Oh, did you? I thought you lost.
No,
I thought you were there for the West Ham game.
Sorry, Kendall. Go on, Kendall.
Oh yeah, and it's not just apologies from obviously the certain man. It's literally from the 28 inboxes that I counted up on in my DMs, and that's not even Twitter. That's literally Instagram alone.
Is that Liverpool fans?
No, Man United fans. Don't go deal. I said my PayPal is open. £150. It's going up to 170, and I won't go on. I'll cancel it.
So you're that confident you'll get top 4, yeah?
Oh no, that's just not up here on on DR Sports. Like obviously, but Kop-Ish up here for free, innit? But no, I'm confident we're gonna get top 4 just because of the home form alone. Like Fulham don't scare me. And then I hear Mitrovic is back. I don't really care. Varane's back. He looks solid. Again, we just don't take our chances. That's literally it. We need about 50 chances. I'm not even joking. We needed 27 chances just to score 2 goals. But it's just more decision making.
Have you got 2 games left or 3?
3. We got Bournemouth on the weekend, and I feel like they're already on the beach down there. So I think I wouldn't say it's an easy win, but I would say we get over the line. But I wouldn't say it's going to be an easy game. But if it was, even better. But I'm not. I would say right as it currently stands, it depends on the Newcastle game. If Newcastle lose or draw against Brighton, I'm taking a draw at Bournemouth. I don't care then, because it's not just my club there, isn't it? And you boys have got Aston Villa.
Yeah, we got Aston Villa at home.
Yeah, that's a draw anyway, so it's calm.
That's another thing I've been saying as well. Like, I get it when Liverpool fans are like, yeah, we're winning every game, because historically, when it comes to the end of the season, Klopp and Liverpool put a run together. But this hasn't been a normal season for us. So it's like, I get everyone's looking at your fixtures, whether it be Newcastle, Man United. We still have to do our job. And Aston Villa is not an easy game. And look, even Southampton, those players are going to be playing for their future potentially last game.
I don't think they are, that's a walk in the park. I'm thinking 5-0, Trent probably another banger.
I hope so. Obviously, look, I'll be real with you. I'm just going to be completely honest with you. I don't have a rivalry with Newcastle like that, innit? Cass, my hope is that you guys completely fall off, and the last game of the season, we pip you to 4. That is my dream. And then that Thursday after it happens, I want to be on that show. I'm just being real with you, bro.
You want to come into Rivals?
No, I want to be on every stream that you're on, bro.
So Cal, so let's do the flip side. Are you going to jump onto our show when top 4 settled? Us 4, actually, no, that's don't need to be included. At least us 3 plus Monts and another Liverpool fan when you don't make top 4 in the end, because it's just stupid.
No, I will. I genuinely, send me the calendar invite from now, and I'll put it in the calendar so I don't book anything else.
I mean,
I've also been consistent. I don't think I've said when we lost the game against Bournemouth 1-0 after we beat you guys, I said that was it for us. I said top 4 is too far now. We've restored a bit of pride, but we've just made it look close.
I'm actually going to retract that. If Newcastle mess up against Brighton, that game is all to win on Sunday. That just sparks everything.
Oh, I'm ill-used.
We're playing on Saturday as well, which I like, and I think it's another 3 o'clock kickoff, and I'm like, yes.
Yeah, we're 3 o'clock as well.
I'm a bit on the same wavelength as you though, Carl. Like, if I feel like if we don't win our games, it's our fault. Like, we've got no one else to blame. It's our own fault. Like, if we don't beat Leicester and Chelsea for specifics, I'll see you later. I can't even be asked with Leicester because they are the worst team I've ever seen. Like, literally, they were worse than Southampton this season. Genuinely worse. I don't even know how they've managed to pull results together to even be where they are at the minute, because I don't know how they've got that many points this season. They are awful. Like, genuinely awful. So if we don't beat them on Monday at home as well, there's no point of being in Champions League, so we'll get trumped off like Club Bruges or something. Like, I can't be bothered, honestly. I'm so pessimistic. I'm trying not to be, because I think I want like positivity to feed into the universe, but I'm so pessimistic. It's absolutely unreal.
I hear it, guys. So Kendall, I'm gonna ask you outright: are Newcastle United finishing in the top 4?
I'm ill about it. I'm so ill about it. It's just so Newcastle United to drop out. Like, at this point, it's just so us. Historically, anyway. Maybe it's different this time. I'm going to say, just simply because we've got an extra game to play and we are where we are right now, then I'm going to say yes. But whether I believe that or not, you can decide that yourselves. I don't know. Clearly, people will obviously get the vibe.
Are you getting top 4?
Who's that to me?
No, the person behind you.
No, I don't think we will. I genuinely believe if we had another 2 games extra left in the season, we'd do it. But we've left it too late. We've left it too late. If there genuinely was like 4 or 5 games left in the season, I'd be like, yeah, we're gonna get to one of you. We are gonna get to one of you. But with 2-3 games left now, nah.
So our maximum points now we can get, I think, is 73. 72. Yeah, I think so. We're on 66 now, isn't it? We've got 3 games left. Same, must be same for you as well, Kaz, because you're on the same points as us, aren't you?
Yeah.
And then Liverpool's 71. So, and then our goal difference is, I think, 4 better than Liverpool at the minute. I don't know how much better it is than Man United.
Our goal difference is better than Man United.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, what did you beat Leicester by?
3-0.
This is what I'm saying. Like, it's not.
But I was annoyed because I don't know if you guys saw Salah's missing that game. Salah missed a very easy 1-on-1. And again, if I'm looking at goal difference and I'm looking at Newcastle, I'm thinking 3 goal difference makes a big difference because if you lose a game, your goal difference is going to go down, depending on obviously how much you lose by. Yeah. Every goal matters now.
I don't know whether I'm glad that we're playing Brighton now, because if we'd played them after they lost to Everton 5-1, I'd have been like, oh, they're looking for like revenge now. They'll have to go and win. But then they've just battered Arsenal at the weekend. So I don't know whether it's like
but they
a good thing or not. Oh my God, honestly, I can't. I'll get off the stream. I'll just not even sleep. I'm not honestly bothered about tomorrow. I'm going to get up tomorrow, and after I've dropped my daughter off at school, I'm going to be like, that was like with the drinking one. I'll probably like not even get in the game. I don't even, honestly, I'm actually that ill. I don't even drink. I do not drink alcohol, and very often. Oh my God, I can't. I don't even know what I do.
Skill
In the morning. Oh, I've got skill. That's not even my accent. That's Manchester accent, that one.
What the hell have I just come back to?
No, Gaps, I'm going to ask you. I'm going to ask you because everyone said what they're. Who do you think gets top 4?
Istanbul, we are coming. I need to book some flights. That's what I've just been on the phone about. Who gets top 4? Do you know what? I think tomorrow's a huge game. I do think I've said this a good few weeks ago that I thought Liverpool were going to win all their games, and I do think Liverpool win all their games. At this point, if someone's dropping out, it's going to be Newcastle because they've got Brighton. I don't think Chelsea's a concern, but that Brighton game, if Newcastle can get that, where is that, Kendall?
It's at home tomorrow.
St James.
Oh, it's ooh. Yeah, I think
we've only lost 2 games all season at home.
Ooh. It's gonna be tight. It's gonna be tight. Am I right? If Liverpool win all their games, then if Newcastle or Man United draw 1, then Liverpool slide into the top 4.
No,
If Man United and Newcastle win 2, draw 1, we both get top 4. If we lose 1,
wait, win, draw, what?
Oh,
if both of, because Daps was saying if Newcastle and Man United draw and Liverpool win both theirs, and they get into top 4, but no, because so Liverpool have got 2 games left. Man United and Newcastle have got my maths. I think about this every day, right? We've got 3 games left. So Liverpool's maximum points is 71. Ours is 73. So if we both drew 1, Liverpool still wouldn't get top 4. We would both have to lose a game, and then we would on that basis, we would still get top 4 based on goal difference. So this is like how I'm thinking.
It feels
and Man United would drop out that way, but it depends if like we get battered 5-0 off someone. Do you know what I mean? Then we wouldn't get it. So it just depends.
You know, in athletics, there's like 100 meters, but then in certain competitions, it's 110 meters. I feel like
the hurdles.
Yes, right. If this was 110 meters, I think Liverpool get top 4.
Didn't I just say that, guys? I literally just said that.
But it's like literally Liverpool left it 1 game too late to go on their run.
It's the Bournemouth game.
Yeah.
Bournemouth game, 100%. Yeah.
Or if you would have made that Arsenal game a 3-2.
No, so I tell you what it is, I don't look at that game like that because, in my opinion, going into that game, we had no right to even compete with Arsenal at the time. They should have blown us away in the same way you guys did. For me, that was a bonus draw. That Bournemouth game, especially after beating Man United the way we did, that Bournemouth game for us to go and lose that game was just like, that was the worst time for that to happen. It was that for me was like, yeah, it's done now.
Yeah.
We completely fumbled when we did that, because when, if I'm not mistaken, after we beat Man United, we weren't that far behind them, and I think we had a game in hand as well at that time or something like that, and it was like, oh, we could actually catch United potentially now, and then we went and did that. It was just like, and then I think Man United won that same weekend as well, and it was just like, it's done again now. Like, we just reversed everything we did. But yeah, I agree. I think
so. I think, but tomorrow night can change everything, because I do think Liverpool win all their games. It's over to Man United and Liverpool, Man United and Newcastle.
I can't lie. The way I look at it is Newcastle drop out at the last game of the season.
That's what you're hoping.
Oh, you reckon?
No, you're not actually.
No, I'm not hoping on that.
So you think Liverpool get it, Cass?
Yeah, I think so. I think we end up getting third. Personally, I think Brighton are going to make it too difficult for. I don't know what it is, but I shouldn't doubt Newcastle to not bounce back. It's same as my club. You shouldn't doubt them, but there's something within me that just tells me Brighton are just got to shit out their way to it, even if it's a 1-1 draw. Some way down the line, hopefully. If VAR isn't helping Newcastle out, typically, then Brighton are gonna get somewhere. I don't know. I don't know. Brighton against the bigger lot, like the bigger teams, Newcastle and so forth, they just perform in it, and I think Newcastle do as well. I think Newcastle prefer these sort of games. I just think it's got draw written all over it, and then after that, it's like Liverpool just win their games, and then I think Chelsea.
Yeah, but even if we draw and then win our next two, we'll still be fine.
I don't think you beat Chelsea on their last day of of Stamford Bridge, last home game. I think you're
is it at Stamford Bridge?
Yeah, I think you're going to end up hating Chelsea for this reason alone for a whole season.
If we don't beat them, then I'll concede, because I'll say, well, we absolutely shit, so we don't. Europa League's fine. If we don't beat them, absolute freaks down there I'm sorry, absolutely not.
It's just me thinking that everyone's got their own thoughts, innit? You probably think you win both of those games. I probably think I'm going to win.
I think we lose every game, because that's how I am. But I think about everything. I go into a game and I'm like, if I think we're going to lose, I'm not going to be disappointed. That's how I think. But
Brian will dominate the possession, and I don't think Z saying that. But I don't think Newcastle will care about that. They don't need
it doesn't bother us too much if the opposition dominates possession, because we're usually better in the second half anyway. So
Bruno Gomes, for me, this is where I think Newcastle have been wrong in the last couple games. Of course, it's Bruno Gomes. As soon as he can't play, the whole team can't play, and he just looks.
He's carried an injury for about 3 months. He needs surgery in the summer, but it's just happened. We would have been fine, but Longstaff's been injured the last 3-4 games. So it's just happened where they both.
Anyway. He's not the difference. He's not the
difference. But the way that we play,
that's not McTominay, but worse.
He's vital to the way that we play 100%. Never a time in my life would I have ever backed him. I would have driven wherever he wanted to go in the summer.
Basically, he's Xhaka. What Xhaka is to Arsenal, that's what.
He's just he's just a perfect system player, and he slows the game down in times where we need it to. Sometimes we're just too quick, so the passing's crap, and then he just slows it down, and he takes the things that used to get annoyed at him for, like you're taking too many touches. Actually, sometimes we need that just to like regroup and focus and see where we play. So he's the perfect system player. It's just happened that he's got injured at the same time Bruno's injured, but apparently in Eddie Howe's press conference today, he said Bruno's actually okay at the moment, whereas last week he said he was carrying an injury. So
did he say he's okay at the moment, or he's fit?
He said he's doing better, which is more than what can be said for what he's been in the last few games, because he's been awful.
That means he's not doing so good.
No, because he wouldn't have said that. Normally he's pretty open with the injuries. He's normally pretty like, oh, he's not doing well, he's got an injury, which he did say last week. But this week he said he's doing a lot better. He's done a lot better this week. So hopefully we don't have anyone to drop him for. This is the problem. We just don't. This is where we're gonna. This is where we need a big summer, because we don't have the depth to drop him for anyone. So they've recalled it under 17 to come back.
I think you lot get Lavia, I'll be honest. I think he ends up going to Newcastle.
I'd love Lavia. I think he's a fantastic player.
So,
I
mean,
Bruno,
we say that though.
Bruno next to each other, that would be nice.
We say that though, but if you guys sell Calvin Phillips daps, isn't Lavia just a
not till next year?
But surely you won't buy, like, when you've got a
buyback clause till next season.
clause, haven't you, till next season? You won't buy him early, surely. That'll be
do you know what? I can't see it happening as well. You know. Do you know what? the way I have to look at the Lavia thing is he was at our club and we let him go, right? And yeah, Lavia's been really, really good this season, really, really good this season. But if he wasn't, if it wasn't the fact that he came through our ranks, would we be here now saying, do you know what, we want Lavia? Would Man City be here right now saying we want Lavia? I'm not saying he's not good, but and the other thing is, I'll be honest with that position right now. When we bought Calvin Phillips, my one concern was if he doesn't think he's good enough, why is he coming? If he doesn't think he can dethrone Rodri in that role, why is he coming? Is it another Jack Rodwell? And I think Lavia himself, I don't think he'd look at the City, because I think he'd look at it and go, well, I was there before and they didn't think I was going to dethrone Rodri. Any DM's going to look at City and go, why am I joining them? I'm not, I can't see it. I really can't see it.
I disagree with that, Daps. See, that's a similar situation with Salah at Liverpool, who comes in and says, I'll play deputy for Salah. The difference is Guardiola rotates. We've seen
if
it.
You
Foden,
it. Yeah, true,
Foden was,
true,
Foden was the main guy at the beginning of the season in
Yeah.
some aspects. Now Grealish is the main guy. He rotates, and when people are in form, he'll keep them in the team and stuff. Like, maybe apart
you have
from
to have the belief.
Even
you
De
have to have
Bruyne
the
has been
belief.
rotated. Beginning of the season, De Bruyne was resting a lot.
He does rotate. I always say this, that if you look at the myth that has started coming back out now recently, mainly from Arsenal fans, that City have got 2 best 11s, right? We haven't. We've got Manchester City have got 16 elite players, right? After that, they're like you're looking at your Cole Palmers, your Calvin Phillips, your Gomez's, right? They're not elite players. They're not. But we've got 16 elite players that all rotate, and the person that comes in, and this is where I think Calvin Phillips, he's not elite because he's joined us, and if he was elite when he came back from the World Cup, he would have been fit. He would have been fit and fighting, and this is my opportunity. Remember when Dele Alli got the opportunity to play in a friendly against Real Madrid, and he stepped forward, and I think he nutmegged Modric, and then they said, we'll play you again. And that's the difference between footballers. When you get the opportunity, Calvin Phillips had the opportunity coming back from the World Cup, and he didn't take it. And it's just you really have to back yourself if you're joining City in the 6th role, because you're saying, I can keep Rodri out the team for a run of games. And I think Lavia's a good player, by the way. I think he'd be a good signing for Liverpool. Be a good signing for Liverpool.
I think so as well. I don't know what Liverpool are going to get. We actually know we kind of do and we kind of don't. Obviously, I think obviously Athletic came out and saying McAllister's down to Champions League football, and I think if you miss out on that, I don't think Arsenal get Caicedo, where I think, okay, that means Liverpool's got a free run, even if they are not in Champions League. I don't think it would matter. I think Newcastle might be a surprise location for Caicedo if they're looking at a DM and they're going to splash some money. Again, depending on Champions League football, it could be the factor, but you still got Klopp at the end of the day. No disrespect to Eddie Howe. I like the guy a lot, to be fair. English manager and everything, got to back it, right? But then you get the opportunity to work with Klopp. Lavia, questions, rumours to Liverpool, but then there's rumours to Chelsea as well, and so forth. I think you get Agate in the end. Wicked signing. DM in the mid. I think you're going to trigger his release clause, which activates very soon. And I think Liverpool.
Why did Aston Villa think to getting him?
Because typically, have you not noticed, when you come from the Portuguese league, all these ballers, like when you think of Mateus Nunes, Paulinho, a lot of the big clubs tend to hesitate. And then you see Paulinho go to Fulham, Mateus Nunes go to Wolves, and you're like, what's going on here? Like, surely
Mateus Nunes only went to Wolves because we rejected buying.
Yeah, but that's exactly a hesitation. And then now you might see Paulinho jump up to maybe Chelsea. Maybe they might even go to Liverpool. Maybe Man United, if they get the money and funds together, they might go get him as well as a backup or rotation with Casemiro. Like, this is what I mean. A lot of these teams are going to strengthen, and there's a lot of decent defensive players out there for good prices and some for overprices. Caicedo's not worth 80-odd million, let's be honest. I don't think no 6s.
I disagree with that.
Wait, which one? Oh, other than Rodri, obviously. The tip top.
Maybe I'm a bit biased because I used to play in midfield, but I'll be real with you. You see this whole narrative of attackers need to always be more than defenders and defensive midfielders.
It's like
about Rodri's and
I just feel there's 6s out there and there's enough. There's not loads of them, but
Casemiro was the reason, man.
Yeah, but he was an
word, like, all right.
How much did he cost? 55 million for United, yeah?
No, but you bought him after he came out of his peak. In his peak, you wouldn't have paid 80 mil for Casemiro. Bro, take my money.
Probably, yeah. But then there's the odd players like Rodri and Casemiro back then. That's the odd players, not the majority players like a Caicedo. So I don't know, man. Polina's not old either. He's 26. Oh, going on 27.
All right, before we read out super chats and bring the show to a close, Declan Rice. Would you guys pay 80 mil for Declan Rice? Any of you?
I tell you why, right?
Thank you.
I tell you why.
100%.
Every game I've watched of Declan Rice this season, he has been one of the players this season, despite the fact where West Ham are. Every single game I've watched him play, he's absolutely controlled the game. No matter what, like he's literally controlled everything. They came to St. James's Park and he literally controlled every single touch of the game. It was crazy. I've never seen that from a player who doesn't play for the likes of Man City, of Man United, Liverpool. I've never seen that from anyone.
Don't say Man United. We're not there.
No, but in the past. I mean, historically, I've never a team who doesn't play, who isn't one of those teams. I've never seen a player come to St. James's Park and control every single touch, the whole tempo of the game. And he did that, and he's done it in loads of games I've watched from this season. I think Declan Rice is worth 80 million. I'll pay 8 million for Declan Rice. 100%.
Not for me. I'd say 70 million tops. And this is realistic pricing. This is West Ham's pricing. But if you're asking if it's down to my pricing, he's a 70 million pound player, I think, as well. He's still relatively coming into his prime. But it's so easy to look and shine for a smaller club. No disrespect again to West Ham. You are a lesser club compared to the bigger clubs. That's what I'm going to compare it to. It's easy to stand out there. But when the pressure comes on, every single one of these shirts,
for England as well,
especially putting on a Man United shirt, putting on a Man, that's heavy tax in itself, man. Like, who knows if he can handle the pressure? There's more games, more intensity, and more everything. See, this is speculation. It doesn't mean he's gonna not drop and not thrive.
No,
he could prove me wrong to be the 80 million player. But I think there's so many gems out there, centre mids and stuff like that can do what Rice can do, or probably even more in his current market.
No, because it depends though. Like some players can, and you look at them, but they just don't do well in the Premier League. Whereas he is done well in the Premier League, he's done well internationally. Like
and
he
in
is.
Europa.
It's worth that alone, I think. And there's not very often I would say a player's worth that because I don't think many are. But there's not very often I would think that.
No, not for me, man. A year ago, Grealish for 100 million. Of course, this is where you say, no, he's not worth that price. Today, you're saying 100%. He's probably worth that price, right? He's a 100 million pound player right now. Declan Rice for me right now is quality player, good player, very good. It doesn't start me as an elite world-class talent because he's not. I don't think he's got a world-class ability in any of his attributes. I think he's got high attributes, though. I think he's got high attributes, but nothing that's going to make me stand out. You know what? That's a world-class player. No one can tell me he's world-class right now because he ain't done nothing to be world-class. Because the world-class means on the big stages, right? But look, he can prove me wrong, but I just think there's players out there that you can go top for 90 million, like let's say 50 million pound players. I'd rather Polina. He's a specialist in what he does. Not world-class yet, obviously not, but he's a specialist at what he does. There's 8s out there that I think he could just do more than what Rice can do.
Rice does 6, 8, and centre back if need be as well.
Yeah, I hear it, but it's just, you know what it is? I think it just comes down to preference.
Yeah,
what you like to see. Because I'm kind of preference of what I see, and it's just West Ham at the moment. And also, he's got a ceiling, but I don't think his ceiling is that high. I think he's at his best that he can be at the moment. I'll be honest. I don't think there's much room for much more quality because he's not that great. Let's say you can definitely press him. He's not, you know, you can definitely tackle him and everything. He's got good positioning. He can definitely drive with the ball and everything. He can do what you can do in a Prem. I think he'd be great, but I don't think he'll be the standout player that you need as an 8. That's the way I look at it. Like I'm looking at 8s. The way I compare these 8s are what the 8s that I am used to. Barella, Kroos, even though he can do 6. Modric. Like these are special players. So that's the way I look at it. I think Bruno Gomes is an 8. I think he's 10 times the player Rice is. And he
but I think if we bought Rice, he wouldn't play as an 8. He would be a 6. I don't think we would switch him and Bruno around. It would be like
that's what it would be.
Rice would sit here, then Bruno and Joel.
It'd probably be double pivot unless you're in a controlling game. One will go forward, and I don't think Rice is a 6. He's never done single pivot in his entire career, so he would only have to be a double pivot. I don't think he has the ability to do a 6 by himself in a high pressured game, let's say, or whatever. I don't think it'll be the case. Not for me, anyways. But look, I could be talking bollocks. He can prove me wrong, and that's fine. Prove me wrong then. You're an English player anyway, so go do that for England.
I hear it. Let me help these supers before I let you guys go. Ed says City showed everyone how high the bar is tonight. Facts. All Premier League rivals got their work cut out this summer. As a Liverpool fan, I'm afraid. Yeah, hurts to say it, but
it's not scary though, because it's what they do. Like it's like
Kendall, they've hit a new level, you know. I hate to say it, they have. It really pees me off because we were so close to them last season.
Yeah, this is, I can't lie. That's
so good.
Haaland took them to a new level. I wish I could have gone back to the summer and just been like, or before the summer and just tried to get this Haaland thing sabotaged some way, shape, or form. Because when it was happening, the amount, and look, I hate to say it, and maybe it's rivals hoping. I saw a lot of Liverpool fans. Like sometimes I've got to call out my own fan base saying Haaland's only done it in Germany. Look at his past stats. Look at these stats and look at his injury record. And I'm thinking, guys, he's doing this at Dortmund. He's not even doing this at the best team in Germany. And then you're going to throw him into Man City's team and not expect him to do a madness. Like, it's a perfect match. It just really pees me off.
You know what? I always laugh about it as well because Pep's been like the one who has like changed English football a little bit in the last like 5 or 6 years, where a lot of teams now obviously play out from the back more and the way that they tactically go into games, right? And he's brought back a traditional number 9 that's literally been dying out for like the last few years. It's been really more false nines and like second strikers and wide forwards have now become a thing that he made a thing. And now he's brought back a traditional number 9 and they've literally looked so good. I just think it's just like poetic how he's done it. I just think it's just too good, man. He's like a genius.
He's found a cheat code. That formation he's found out with a 3 at the back, John Stones doing what he does. It's just a cheat code, bro, and it's not fair. You just need to get the fuck out of Premier League now. I'm getting annoyed. Jarring, man.
Well, and do you know what? Like I said before, if he takes us to that promised land, then you know what? I'm not mad if he leaves. Do you know? I always said this.
What would he do though?
Go and play golf. Go and play golf.
Yeah,
like where I want him to. Let me be clear.
Just go away, bro.
Can he come and help us out?
I don't want it to sound like I'm saying I want Pep to leave. I don't want Pep to leave. I want him to stay forever. But I always said when we first got taken over, that. And this was probably before we even won a Premier League. I said the fact that I'm now able to actually be playing for something every season, whereas that's not what I grew up being able to do. If our owners left and our owners said, you know what, we're bored of this and we're going to go and give our money, put our money into another club. And I always say Scunthorpe for some reason, but it's just what I'm saying is that if another group of fans that have never had anything to celebrate get a couple of years of being able to live the good life, then fair enough. I can't believe where we are. Well, sometimes I have to just stop and pinch myself and think how. Well, I know how a lot of money, to be fair, but Manchester City. Not just. I never thought we'd win a Premier League, let alone retaining it, let alone doing a treble, let alone potentially winning the Champions League. It's just mad. And if all of them leave and I have to retire from football, it will never happen. But boy. I get why you lot talk. Do you know what it is? I've always said Premier League over the Champions League. Always said it.
You see it now, innit?
Bro.
It's a different feeling, innit?
We haven't won it yet, by the way. Let me be clear. But yeah, I can imagine when you win this, it does. I can imagine it feels like you've completed football.
Yeah. But on the flip side, when we won the Premier League, because I'd seen us win Champions League, get to Champions League finals. You see when we lifted that Premier League, that feeling, bro, I'll never be able to explain it. Like,
I think that's a feeling of because it's 38 games.
But I just remember, like, I literally, like, it was the COVID season, innit? And it was Chelsea versus you guys. You guys lost to Chelsea for us to win it officially.
Okay. God,
and I was at my mum's house, and bro, it's like 10 o'clock at night. I'm screaming in my mum's house. My mum's kicking off at me. I'm woken up little man because he's with me. My missus are getting annoyed with me. Everyone in the house annoying me. My older brother, who I've never had an argument with, he's like, Cal, you need to calm down, man. You're waking up everyone. But I can't explain that feeling. And I want it again. But because of bloody Pep Guardiola, I don't know when I'm going to get it again. So That's why I want him gone. Like, but at this point, I'm like, yeah, go and win the Champions League and then bounce in it. You've completed what you've come to do. Just bounce in it.
Do you know what? And that's the thing. I feel like I had this Chelsea fan message me just after the game and say, do you know what? That's a message from Pep to the rest of the Premier League and to Man United, the FA Cup. And I thought, that's not a message to the Premier League. I think this is far more to Pep. Pep's had to take years and years of you can't win it without Messi, you can't win it without Barcelona, and that's what this is about to Pep. Is I don't know. It is an interesting. Steve said while we were in Madrid that he's got this feeling that if Pep wins the Champions League, although he's got another 2 years on his contract, he might go, I'm good now.
Yeah,
But I seem to think that Pep is the type of guy that could happen. He could go, yeah, I've done the Champions League now. But then there'll be people going, has anyone done a 4-peat? And it'll be like, oh, I like this. What? So no, and has anyone done a 4-peat, by the way?
No one's done it.
Right. Well, I can imagine little things like that. If someone goes to Pep, well done, you've got the Champions League, you've done everything that was expected of you now. And then someone go, by the way, Fergie never did a 4-peat. Him going, what? Oh. Okay.
Yeah, if he does the 4, do you know what? I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say because I always promised I wouldn't swear on camera. So I'll remain professional. I'll say off camera what I'd really feel towards Pep and Man City if you guys did that. AM said Pep City is the best English team I've ever seen. One of them. I can't say it's the best yet, but it's one of them. Ed says Pep equals tiki taka and heavy metal. I think he chooses, depend on the opposition, how he wants to play. Tonight was a need for heavy metal. Brought out the heavy metal. Honesty says, it's my birthday. I need that beat drop. Big up, Honesty. Happy birthday. I wish it could have been Liverpool winning in the Champions League tonight, but this is for you. See, even just watching that, I look at people like Firmino who's leaving it. This is an emotional. See, look, we're gonna wrap up here, people. Like, we might not get top 4. Bobby's going. Man City on the verge of winning a treble. This is a rough season for a Liverpool fan. I can't lie. Man U are going to get top 4 over us. Newcastle. It's a rough season. But before we go, people, Kendall, I'll start with you. Where can the people find you to support you and go and show you some love?
Yeah, this is just all my socials here. If you want to find me, you will on literally any platform. Everything is Kendall Rowan. So yeah, and you'll just find me about really. If anyone
don't play it down, Kendall. Doing up Sky Sports and doing big things. Don't play it down.
Yeah, here and there. I'm sure there'll be another end of season over. Like, I'm not going if we don't get Champions League. I can't be bothered because they'll just be like, I haven't told you so. Well, actually, I can't be chewed. I'll stay at home.
Kaz and Daps, where can people find you?
Find us on Never Foul in about 5 minutes.
In 5 minutes. People straight from here. You can go straight from here.
Probably. And yeah, man, no, just to get a reaction. If I'm being honest, you know what it is. I'm happy for Daps. I told him. I said I don't talk about feelings.
Don't get emotional, you soft bastard.
Anyways, I said I don't talk about feelings whatsoever. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to come out of me, to be fair. Pause. But it's just like. I said, I'm not happy for City in it, but I'm just happy for him in it because he gets to experience something I've experienced a couple times, to be fair. Like, getting into a final, obviously, and we've lost, and obviously winning the damn thing.
Oh, I've experienced that, by the way, getting in a final.
Yeah, no, I know about final, but I've been in a couple in it.
That's one I don't want to experience again.
But you're gonna win. But you're gonna win it. So yeah. You're gonna win it. If Inter Milan do get Forza Inter, by the way, but
you're just happy you've got the house to yourself for 5 days, to be honest.
I didn't even know that, but thanks.
Oh, yeah.
Look at his smile.
I found flights for £210 return. So me and Steve, that was who ran me, by the way. Sorry, Steve, saying we need to box off these flights as quickly as possible.
We got Steve.
I think I found them, man. So let's get that booked.
When is the final?
It's the 10th. It's the 10th of June. Well, which final? We're in a few of them still.
I meant the Champions League final. The Champions League final.
Do you know what the beautiful thing is? Sunday we celebrate, we feast on Chelsea. Chelsea are not allowed to celebrate. These Chelsea fans that think they're coming to the Etihad to celebrate on Sunday, they're the feast of the celebration.
Look, I'm good with you smashing Chelsea. I'm just hoping Chelsea do some sort of favour for us against Man U and Newcastle. So, and people, straight after this video, make sure you head over to Never a Foul. There is a link straight after this video finishes there as well. But even if you don't click the link, you should be subscribed there anyway. So make sure you go head over there. Kendall,
I know your guys don't even like me here, man. It's cool.
Yes, they do. Don't lie, bro.
These are a nice fan base.
If they don't like me, they don't like Daps. It's like it's the ones that actually don't mind both of us. So
to be honest, bro, if they didn't like you, you'd know. Trust me.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. Right?
There's a few of them in there that don't like me, and I know about it. Believe me.
Arrogant. I'm too much for United fan. He's one of the worst United fans I've ever seen. Or get rid of
I get the same
Man
thing.
United fans. I'm like it all, mate.
I get the same thing.
I see Eagles gonna shit on those Magpies tomorrow, though. Can't wait. Hey,
come on, Brighton, man. But no, guys, really appreciate you guys. Obviously, you even swapped the day around, so thanks for accommodating.
No. As
showing
always.
schedules and that. Kendall, I hit you up earlier today as well, so thank you very, very much.
No worries at all. Always a pleasure.
I see what Carl's doing. Replacing the Chelsea fan, Lewis.
No, don't do that. No, because I spoke to Lewis. Don't do that. I spoke to Lewis today. Lewis couldn't make it today because of the day. Oh, look, we might have to reshape the show because, well, we might not be able to do the show if we're playing on Thursday nights. So there's a whole nother story.
Yeah, we're doing Wednesday night.
Bloody hell, man. No, you lot are going to be in Champions League, innit?
I mean, if you're playing on Thursdays, at least you won't be playing on Mondays because let's be real, Mondays is the worst. Mondays, if you play on Monday nights, that is the lowest of the low.
Oh, but they
on that note.
And people, enough love. Thank you all for tuning in. Make sure you go and support Kendall. Make sure you go and support Daps and Kaz on Never a Foul. So we see you next time on Kopish, which will be tomorrow for the preview for Aston Villa. Stay safe, stay blessed. Take it easy, people.